Okay, so here I am on March 25th. I stopped my juice fast on March 10th, so I'm 15 days into eating. And this is the time of the pandemic, global pandemic that we're all aware of at this time in history. And so much of it has to do with food, whether or not food is available, people going to the stores and shopping like it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, Super Bowl, Easter, 4th of July, birthday party, all combined. You know, the food sector alone should keep the economy floating, not to mention people buying necessities. Once they get the food, then they start thinking about necessities. Do I have enough toothpaste? Do I have enough soap? You know, and buying extra paper towels. We all know about the toilet paper, of course. Oh, there, I scratched my nose. And Home Alone. So a lot of this is about food. And I remember years ago, probably about 2007, I have a friend who's kind of a gold bug, and he's a collapsaholic, and he got me to go buy food, just in case food. And at the time, I did a little research on it about the types of food that you should buy in a time when you couldn't get to the store. And what the person was recommending that I was listening to at the time on YouTube. I get so much of my information on YouTube, which we all do, right? Um, was that you should buy like comfort food, basically. Like if you're in a crisis situation, what would make you happy? And for me, it was sort of like, I'm a vegetarian, and it wasn't Dinny Moore beef stew. It was some, vegetarian equivalent of that. And the vegetarian, like ding dongs and candy bars and, canned green beans and like huge cans of green beans, which I ultimately gave away. But I actually, there was no situation where I had to, by necessity, break into these stores, but they were in my cabinet over a long period of time after I bought them. And over time, I ended up eating all that stuff, except for the huge cans of green beans and carrots, which I ended up, you know, I think the expiration date was over, so I just threw them away. You know, if I checked the expiration date, I could have taken them to the food pantry, but I just remembered it as being, for me personally, not a good experience. So when it came to getting extra food in the house, I always sort of resisted it because, I'd had a bad experience. And as you know, I spend most of my time trying to lose weight. Oh, Lordy. And this particular disease that's going around affects people mostly who have underlying health problems. And I would guarantee that the vast majority of them are caused by poor diet and overeating. So there you have a catch-22 going on where, we're focusing on food, and the more, you get people scared that there might not be food and out buying food, they're going to be eating food just like I did in the past couple days, because I eventually last week, it wasn't last week actually, was it yesterday or the day before? Day before. I went down with my boyfriend Gary and finally went and bought all that food I needed at the Mennonite store, which is a really great place to do it because Mennonites are naturally, they're sort of like Mormons. They always have stores on hand, which is, I think it's really a good idea. And I'm actually glad I did it. I bought the types of food that really do store for a long period of time, and Gary and I are going to do a project of putting all these foods into glass storage containers with vacuum seals, so the mice don't get in there and end up eating it all and causing a big problem. So I'm glad I did it. But as in, before and after, I was overeating. and I feel a little sick right now. And before all this really started building up steam, I had a period when I was eating lightly, and let's say 7 days ago, and I actually got down to like 131, which was great. And that to me was kind of sticking with the plan. I went on the juice fast. There was a little initial weight gain from going back to eating, but then I, was exercising and easing off the pedal, eating lightly, no fat, and, I lost weight. And I was at a really good space. I mean, I was kind of right on target. And then, this whole crisis came up, and I'm thinking, well, how can you go on a juice fast in the middle of a freaking pandemic? And as I was sitting this morning meditating, I realized, no, I'm going to stick with my plan. Thank you very much. And I'm going to do another juice fast from the 1st to the 10th of April. And one of the things that kind of keyed me into this was when I was at the Mennonite store, I saw a huge bag of carrots. I don't know what it was, maybe 25, 30 pounds, laying on the floor. And it was only $17. Oh my goodness. I thought, man, I could make a lot of carrot juice with that. And as I was sitting meditating this morning, I thought, okay, get yourself a good bag of apples. Go down to the Mennonite store, get a good bag of carrots. Go get a bunch of tomatoes, get your kale, get a commercial green juice. And I won't have to be going to the store all the time, because really I am, to the extent that I can, obeying the isolation. I am in the Midwest, which is at this point, thank goodness, not a real high risk area. And I do have my face mask and my plastic gloves. When I went out, I wore plastic gloves, and from now on, I'm going to be wearing my face mask. Yesterday, before I went out to Walmart, I had to go to Walmart to get some envelopes, to pay some bills. I had my plastic gloves, but I just couldn't wear my face mask in public. When I was driving down the road headed out to Walmart, I saw this woman with a face mask in a Subaru. I thought, maybe you should double back and get your face mask, but I didn't. And then I ended up seeing a couple friends at Walmart that I was really glad I saw, and we had a conversation at a 3-foot distance, not a 6-foot distance. So we were sort of out of compliance, but I've just made a commitment to myself after listening to a really good talk on how we can really nip this in the bud if we all wear face masks and we all wear plastic gloves and eye protection, that we can pretty much go, business as usual. If we just take those precautions and are willing to do that. They've done that in Japan and Singapore, I think, and, can really get it under control that way. So I will be doing that when I go out in public. I've finally, steeled myself to, okay, do it. So, but I am also I'm planning on doing my juice fast, and I haven't been exercising. I only exercise one day here at home because our rec center, like everybody else's, is closed. My Aikido is closed. So today sometime during the day, I will actually exercise at home. I have a treadmill here. I have a yoga mat, and I have YouTube video. I watch The Body Coach, great guy. And just do what I can do, because I can do anything here at home. And I'm thinking about not joining the rec center when we go back online. I can save money that way, and I'm all about saving money. So that's it. I just wanted to report in. Stick with the program. Stick with the plan. It's absolutely imperative that I pay attention, that we pay attention, like wearing a face mask, wearing plastic gloves, getting food in the house in case you can't leave the house and you have to feed yourself, with storable foods. Okay, yes, these are all rational things. But the fact that the real at-risk people are people who are overweight, as a preventative prophylactic action, you still want to stay, with whatever health plan you have and any diet regime you have, and keep your weight down and eat properly. Because, eventually, if you don't pay attention, you're going to get yourself into a risk group that really is susceptible to all types of, bad consequences. So that's all I wanted to share. I wanted to get this off. I like to express these things because if I speak it out loud, I'm thinking about it and I made a decision, but when I actually speak it out loud, now it's a commitment that I can reflect on and remember and put into action. And I hope everybody's doing well, and that you're, as to the extent that you can, that you're sticking with your plans and your highest intentions. So I think really this is the best strategy, for long-term success, long-term and short-term success.